This week on Werewolf Radar, the crew does a deep dive on cults.
What is this dream about? I mean,
They say follow your dreams. Not that one.
not this one. This one's a
Okay.
defense for aliens who are psychic.
Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I am Roger Norquist.
And not with us today is Nate Balding. Where's Nate, Roger?
Nate is currently trying to find a new form. He has undergone the moon ritual or the star ritual. Sorry.
Sure. I think it was the ritual of the moon and stars is what it is, where you paint your body in goat's blood and you lie in a field beneath the moon and stars, and then all light escapes your form and you become the inverse of yourself. And so he's probably in the upside down right now, fighting Shadow Nate, trying to gain his power to become, Lord of the Shadow Realm and come back to us, hopefully by next
It's
week.
all for those 5-star reviews,
For those 5-star reviews. We're doing it for you.
Get them.
We're doing it for you, not for, to save you or anything, just so you'll approve of us with those stars.
Because when we collect all the stars, more people will be listening to us. The Pingo Nation will grow strong, and we will resume our attack on Universe A.
The Sega Genesis trained me to collect stars. I don't know what else to say. Speaking of Universe A, I saw a great movie last night called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and they have kind of a Universe Alpha plot line going through it. It's very, very good. But this week's episode is brought to you by Monstrocos, the breakfast cereal by Monstruoco that turns the milk black. Don't eat it. Oh, God, don't eat it.
Oh, no.
Monstrocos by Monstruoco. What the fuck?
I fed that to Nate before he changed.
They say don't eat it, and it says it on the box. That's kind of the slogan. Monstrocos, don't eat it. Oh, don't eat it. But if you want eyes on the inside, as they say, and Nate did, it prepared him for his arcane journey.
Cheaper than cheaper than mental care in America. Get those eyes inside, see what's bothering you.
Exactly. He transcended. So, I mean, you can eat it, but just, don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Yeah.
Don't chew it.
Don't chew it. Feels like a loophole.
If you swallow it whole, you're good. All right. Let me start this Werewolf Radar deep dive.
We're diving deep. What are we diving deep into?
All right. So I put out 2 polls, both on our Patreon, patreon.com/Werewolf Radar, and our Twitter page. And the Pingos and the Dark Council decided together.
This week, we're talking about the ants. The ants are coming, people. Nobody believes me.
Jordan. No, they decided cults, actually. They were indifferent to the ant invasion me and you care so heavily about.
You all said I was crazy, but I insisted we spent 2 hours a week training for it.
Hey, your boys are on Radar already. You guys decided to choose cults. So we're going to prepare you for the cults that will be eaten by the ant invasion, but you'll be ready for cults.
Yes. Get a shotgun. Boy, what if they did an awesome ant invasion video game with giant human-sized ants that want to cut you in half and take you back to the queen?
Like the movie Them?
Yes, just like that. The ants are coming.
Anyway, this week for our deep dive, end of the month, every month
we will dive deep.
We're talking about cults. I found a UFO cult.
Nice.
Called the Ground Crew Project.
Okay. I'm going to be talking.
You've never heard about them. This was a new one for me.
Okay, I've never heard about them. They sound like a dance crew. They sound like I might see them facing off with Jabberwockies.
Oh, that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
It just now flashed in my head. It's like
you see it.
it's like 3 white dudes and then another dude in an alien mask who like does some of the harder tricks, and like they lose to the Jabberwockies all the time, but
yeah,
they
and he's
get
breathing
shows, they get work
hard under that mask.
So the Ground Crew Project is a UFO religion that started in the 1980s and is based in California and Hawaii, which later split into the Ground Crew and the Planetary Activation Organization.
Okay, these aren't good cult names. Come on. I mean, I guess nobody thinks they're a cult going in.
No, they thought they were a project.
Yeah.
So it was founded in California by Sheldon Nadell, who began to post it. Yep.
Wow.
Who began to post it online in 1996 and is now an official online religion.
Okay. All right.
So if you want to get indemnified by the state to do ceremony, think about the Ground Crew Project.
That is a double
who
nerd
might
name.
be just the Ground Crew now.
That is a double,
which once again, dance crew.
Like Omega level nerd name. Sheldon Nadley
For sure. So this religion
Burns. You can call me Shell or Ned or Shell Ned.
So this religion, as you guys might know, or not this religion, but as you know, with cults, they're sometimes very negative. This is an optimistic religious UFOlogy that believes the Earth is on the verge of a cosmic transformation, which was expected to happen as the Earth apparently made its passage through the high energy properties of the photon belt in the 1990s.
Is that a thing?
Kind of. Like, do you remember, like, recently, I think maybe last year, Earth was supposedly like to enter like the dark part of the Milky Way?
Okay. Interesting.
It's like that.
Explains it. That explains it.
The religion's aim is to prepare humanity for large-scale first contact between Earth and the Galactic Federation.
Okay. Klingons, etc.
Klingons, etc. If you're familiar with various other UFO religions, you got the Ashtar Command, you have the Raelians, you have reptilians, you have all the aliens kind of together deciding what happens to the galaxy and beyond. So this Galactic Federation claimed to be an extraterrestrial organization which will help in the supposed transformation of humanity. Members of the group are being prepared to play key roles as intermediaries between the claimed extraterrestrials and the population of Earth. After many failed predictions, contact is now believed to happen as soon as possible, and the ground crew are to actively help in raising mankind beforehand. So, like, it's happening, okay? We're going for it as soon as possible, okay? ASAP, contact is happening. It just, the aliens seem to be still on vacation. You know, they're having fun on Mars.
Well, I mean, if you were out there, like way out there, you know, like planet water slide, planet fucking pizza fruit, the planet of the blowjob genies. Would you want to come back to fucking Earth and be like, oh, cool, still having a weird war that nobody but one guy wanted?
What was that one place where all the people on Star Trek would go? That was like the Pleasure Planet.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
I can't remember.
And like number one, I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
He was always like banging everyone that he could find.
Yeah.
And Captain Picard literally was just trying to read a book. And he ended up going on like a dangerous archaeological mission on the Pleasure Planet, and everyone went,
yeah,
you're supposed to have fun, Captain.
Yeah. Funny.
So no, I wouldn't want to leave, even if I was one of those like type A personalities to where like I will apparently just make a mission.
Yeah. Let's go check out reality for a while.
It's a pleasure planet, you know?
Sucks. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
So contact is happening as soon as possible. Now, let's learn about the leader and creator, Sheldon Needell.
Okay.
Sheldon Needell claimed he had extraterrestrial and UFO experiences shortly after his birth on November 11th, 1946, claiming he was contacted by ETs from another planet or from the planet Sirius.
Sheldon, it's time for dinner.
He experienced these through telepathic communication, being taught aboard spacecraft, and gaining knowledge from direct core implants.
Oh, that's what?
In 1994, he published a book, You're Becoming a Galactic Human, in which he describes a boyhood encounter with extraterrestrials who landed in his backyard. Since 1955, he claimed to be in regular communication with ETs through telepathy and direct core knowledge inserts.
What is that?
I assume it's
would
very
like one?
cyberpunk, to where like you have an implant and you can insert chips, information,
You
code.
get updated and shit.
Indeed. However, he states that when he was 14 years old, he put an end to extraterrestrial communication because he was expected to fulfill his mission as a star seed from Sirius. And there was too much conflict between terrestrial and extraterrestrial knowledge.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to focus on being starseed from Sirius for a while. So I don't think that works when you guys are around.
He then became vice president of the Amateur Astronomers Club and worked on a film about Nikola Tesla.
Interesting.
He went to University of Southern California, graduating with a master's in art in South Asian government and an MA in American politics and international public administration. He then began a PhD program, so he seemed to be mentally equipped for some studies.
Yeah. I mean, he seems like he's operating at a pretty high level of academia here.
He claims he was then contacted again in the mid-'80s by extraterrestrial forces, namely the Galactic Federation, whom he now represents as a lecturer.
Hey, it's me, Elf. I need some more cats.
Now let's learn maybe about the photon belt. So we talked about it.
I know about the photon belt, actually. It's a faith belt, an item that you can get in Elden Ring, and it upgrades your faith magic.
No, but close.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking of something else.
Nadell channeled a narrative that was an urgent call to humanity and involved an imminent apocalypse due to a planetary transformation of Earth. He claimed to be leading a mission on Earth for the Galactic Federation of Planets in order to prepare the world for this coming transformation, supposed to occur as the planet passed through the path of a cosmic photon belt, an area of outer space that he claimed had high energy properties similar to the plasma in the atmosphere of stars.
Oh.
So he thought we were just going to get fried.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
What a dipshit.
However, not all of us would be fried. His narrative stated that the photon belt would actually aid Earth's transformation into a pristine state and restore the superhuman abilities of humanity by gradually transforming the genetic code of all humans from a double helix to a 12 helix DNA pattern.
Okay.
The dormant pineal gland would be activated and an immediate healing process would take place. It was expected that the human body, having lost certain cosmic capabilities in the past, would regain its galactic ability to rejuvenate itself, overcome illness and aging, and become telepathic. I love how every alien race is telepathic.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're better. They're better than us. And honestly, I think the world would be better if everybody could think with one another, you know?
Okay, fair enough. You know, like a hive mind situation versus like my mind is blocked and I'm shouting my thought at you. Like I picture it as like it's the exact same. but I'm thinking my thoughts to you versus we share a hive brain.
Yeah, well, I imagine kind of like, it's harder to really sort of disagree and dehumanize someone else or de-alienize them in this case when you're flipping through their thought catalog and you see it, and they would also see yours and they would be like, okay, so maybe there's some things that I didn't know about.
Fair. So where am I? We're changing. We're going to get a 12 helix system instead of a double helix system. Our dormant pineal gland would activate.
You know what I mean?
The channeling claimed that human structures would be destroyed in the process of the photon belt activation, and the only safe places would be underground or inside spaceships.
So when does he start fucking the cult members?
This isn't one of
the
cults,
only
sadly.
safe place is in my blanket, for it, everybody.
This isn't one of those cults, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
I mean, there's not a lot of reports of that happening. There's no reports of that happening.
Most
that's
cults
not to say that it didn't happen.
That I've come across and are toward the end of somebody somewhere getting laid or having sex with someone else's wife, usually. Yes. But not the cults we're talking about today, actually. Mine doesn't either.
It's just swinger clubs with more steps.
Yeah, and occasionally they get turned into organized religions.
And these massive spaceships we were talking about, also aliens were digging massive underground chambers, and massive spaceships were being prepared to house humans who would join a deep space brotherhood. Now, the photon belt is coming. Needle. I forgot his name already. Needle. Nedley? Nidle.
Nedley?
I lost it. Anyway,
Nedley.
Sheldon said that Earth's entry into the photon belt would be no later than December 17th, 1996, and a mass landing of 15 million starships of the Galactic Federation would complete the raising of the consequences or the consciousness of humanity using their advanced technology. 15 million starships landing on Earth, just raising the consciousness of humanity. Just like all of a sudden, you reach Nirvana, baby. It's time. I think it would give you a headache slightly.
Kaboom. I think it would taste like lemons. Citrus.
Now, this would achieve a paradise of sociological and ecological evolution and a galactic and divine society by, can you guess what date?
July 4th, 1969.
No.
420?
No. Yeah, we're going in the future. So in 1996, he predicted that we would have a galactic and divine society by 2012.
Whoa, look at him go.
It was claimed that the landing would represent hundreds of advanced races, including the Pleiadians, the Sarians, the Cassiopeans, the Octorians, who would fan out across the globe to meet and placate human populations. A quote, "We are being assisted by all of creation, the spiritual hierarchy, the angelic realms, the Galactic Federation of Light, the Ascended Masters, and our space brothers and sisters. All earthly weapons would be neutralized, then beamed up to the spaceships. All mechanical devices would be shut down. World governments would be taken over by the spiritual hierarchy, and all communication systems replaced by their advanced technologies."
Yowza. That's some good shit.
Attractive accounts of the Earth transformation include the use of telepathy, airborne transportation instead of cars, and special photon energy generators for domestic appliances.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now let's go to a section of this Wikipedia article titled "Landings Delayed." The December 1996 mass landing failed to eventuate, which is a fun new word I learned.
Eventuate.
But Needle continued to spread messages from the Galactic Federation that the spaceships would soon appear. Further dates were named and did not deliver a landing on what further dates that were named and did not deliver a landing were the Gregorian New Year, the spring of 1997. The delays were blamed on a solar storm and the instability of the planet. That's right. There seemed to be bad weather. And then despite them being able to, and this is a quote from Sheldon. Where was that? All earthly weapons would first be neutralized, then beamed up to the spaceships. All mechanical devices would be shut down. World government would be taken over by the spiritual hierarchy, and all communication systems would be replaced by advanced technologies. So they were delayed by bad weather and the instability of the planet, despite them being able to take over.
Yeah, well, did you see signs?
I did see signs. They realized there was water. They were getting burned.
There was water. They didn't know. They didn't know there was water.
In February 1997, amazing details about the comet Hale-Bopp were
People can literally shoot water. You could spit on one of those aliens and it would be like shooting him with a bullet.
What if they were in a moist place with 100% humidity?
What if it rained?
So here's where we have the biggest difference between your doomsday UFO cult and your optimistic UFO cult.
Yeah, fair enough.
In February 1997, amazing details about the comet Hale-Bopp were communicated, and in March 1997, the number of spaceships in the landing was increased to 25 million. They saw the comet Hale-Bopp and went, aliens, as did, of course, Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate went, we're going to kill ourselves and ride this baby to space.
Yeah.
They went, that's insane. They're going to land and we're going to physically walk up there.
Ah, nice. That's better. That's better. I like that. See, I like that cult. I would join that one a little. I'd join it a little, like on weekends.
And as you know, there was a split, definitely because of these landings not materializing into reality.
Hey, listen, they might have, maybe the directions didn't translate well. Maybe they were at the pyramids.
We're still waiting. So what we're talking about, the Ground Crew Project, truly has two forms: the Ground Crew and the Planetary Activation Organization. The Planetary Organization, or the Planetary Activation Organization, is doing the work of course, helping humanity evolve. But Sheldon's branch is the Ground Crew, which will continue and end on this last little tidbit. The Ground Crew refers to the virtual congregation who chose to join the mission. Members of the Ground Crew were told via the internet that at the time of the landing, they would be assisting humanity and the extraterrestrials as counselors and ambassadors, respectively.
Hi, welcome to Earth. Hi, welcome to Earth. Hi,
it
welcome.
Really is.
Welcome
it really does sound like for the first few years, it is a Walmart greeter situation.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to Earth. There's water here. Be careful.
Hi, welcome to Earth. There's oxygen in the air. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cat. No, don't. No need to spray
be careful.
Inks.
Cats are the most dangerous of critters.
Don't listen to him. That he's joking. They can be very friendly, but they will attack you. Welcome to Earth.
Sophisticated technology would initially be used by the Space Forces to train members while they slept.
Sick.
This would be followed by the use of implants. Sheldon's all about becoming one with the machine.
Loves those implants.
Which I'm not going to lie, so am I. I'm kind of into the idea of having like a robotic eye.
I like the idea of like, so your brain is information, right?
Yes.
Your
In theory, and I believe it,
yes,
my brain can be stored in quartz.
In theory, your brain could be stored, your brain could be uploaded, your brain could be edited to include implanted knowledge, implanted skills, perhaps, or at least the understanding of the skills. And you know, maybe this implant isn't so much of a fucking microchip being put in your brain as it is. Imagine if you could take a disk of information and kind of project it into reality and then just sort of place it in someone's brain.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And, you know, there would be side effects and things, and I imagine your brain would have to fucking grow around the alien information. But how you can't just currently store information in, say, a holographic stable form like that.
Well, that's for my brain to break over.
Great.
So in the ground crew, they're now at the member growing stage.
Mm-hmm.
Members are encouraged to recruit as many people as possible.
Oh, my brain went to a completely different place. I was like, like in tanks?
Kinda.
This is where we grow the new members.
So,
and over here are members who are getting swole. That's another way we grow our members.
As you know, there's going to be around 25 million starships. They're going to need a lot of members for the counselors and ambassadors.
Hi, welcome to Earth. Hi. Welcome to Earth.
So they're encouraged to recruit as many members as possible. Later, with the failure of predictions, the emphasis on this cult became more spiritual. This obliged the ground crew to play and I'm probably pronouncing this really wrong, salvific role before the landing could take place.
I don't know the word, but I mean, listen, we could have rode right over that. I would have never known we hit anything.
It means leading to salvation.
Oh, okay.
So they're going the Jesus Christ way here.
Yeah, they're also building that Elden Ring faith build. I dig it. Those incantations are powerful.
They're playing the role of savior before the landing can take place. They were asked to help raise humanity spiritually and to assist in the ecological restoration of Mother Earth. You know what? I'm all right with this optimistic cult.
By who, though? I'm sorry, I've misplaced my thumb in the kind of the batshit encyclopedia here. Who is informing them of this stuff? There's an alien communicator.
The alien implants inside of Sheldon Needle. Nedley.
Yeah. Right. Might be. Yes.
You're right. It's easy to forget this basic tenet of this religion.
Sure. Well, this is why I wasn't allowed to join.
In fact, this was a graduation exercise for the course. That's right. This was all a test. Turns out, now there's new rules. Humanity must be gathered, for example, by World Meditation Days to accrue enough critical mass of spiritual energy so that the vibrations may be harmonized towards a peaceful future. I'm bringing it back to the fucking cult that Steven Greer is a part of.
Go on.
So Steven Greer,
know that guy's trying to get laid in the cult.
Steven Greer, he definitely is part of this new age tradition that is using the teachings of the ground crew, meditation and spiritual vibrations as a form of legitimate communication with the aliens. And doing so, Steven Greer, I take away his doctorate. Steven Greer is claiming that he is making active communication with the aliens that the government knows about. Wow. The government is telling him not to. And I do respect him on this one. He is openly saying, you don't need the government to okay communications with the aliens. And I go, all right, that part's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So who is Steven Greer for those who don't know?
Steven Greer is a UFOologist who used to be a field EMT in a third world country, and he kind of leads this new age spiritualness around UFOs via the Gaia.com website, the Gaia.com website. If you're not familiar with Gaia, we'll go into them as a cult sometime in the future. That requires a whole episode deep dive on what they're doing.
He's kind of an outspoken UFO kind of spiritualist guy. He's a bit of a character.
He is.
A bit of a character.
To end this
harrowing journey,
this harrowing journey into the optimistic UFO cult known as the Ground Crew or the Ground Crew Project. They have a saying when anyone questions them on an arrival date. And this is one of my favorite things about this cult, and I want you to share it and use it in your everyday life. Jordan, ask me when the aliens are going to arrive.
Roger, when are the aliens going to arrive?
The right divine time.
And also with you, there should be something that they say back like, damn straight.
That's the response to being denied or being asked about the arrival date. They've had enough of it. They've had so many failed predictions. They're like, it's happening. All right.
The right divine time. Divine ass, time ass.
And that's my deep dive into the UFO cult known as the Ground Crew Project, now known as the Ground Crew. I hand the special deep dive talking skull to you now, Jordan.
Oh, grazie. I am going to take the talking skull and don it. Thusly, I assume we wear it. I am now.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube and see the skull on Jordan's head now.
Now I'm going to see if I can find a video filter for it.
You won't. It's all right.
Okay. I was going to talk about something that's kind of a bummer, but your thing was so fun that I wanted to talk about something else. And luckily I found something else that's just as good. So I was going to talk about the murder of Mark Kilroy.
What you're doing. I think our pingos are ready for the darkness sometimes.
Listen, I got to tell you, the thing that I found is so much better than what I was going to talk about. it is really what the truth of what is happening here. But yeah, check out the murder of Mark Kilroy. He was an American student who was killed in Mexico by people who believed that they were able to use murders to gain riches and success and cult leaders.
And I think you did the same thing I did, because I was going to talk about Falun Gong, a UFO cult who was very much affecting U.S. and Chinese politics.
Yeah.
But I was also like, I don't really know how to talk about this comfortably.
Yeah, sure.
But if you want us to talk about this, let us know on our Twitter.
I might be talking about it right now. So I found an article. This is once again an installment of Jordan Reads You a Listicle, but this is less of a listicle and more of kind of three short stanzas about some fucking weird cults. So first up, this is from zmescience.com, 6 of the most bizarre cults you haven't heard about.
Nice.
So first up, Happy Science. Mindfulness, spirituality, and invading China is apparently their tagline. Happy Science is one of the surprisingly numerous weird Japanese cults. The movement was started in 1986 by Ryuho Okawa, who claims to be the reincarnation of the supreme being, El Cantare, the Lord of all gods. Members of the cult believe El Cantare was born 330 million years ago and was worshipped at different times in human history as Odin, Jesus, Osiris, Hermes, Buddha, and the Hebrew god Elohim.
Wait.
Not God, Hebrew Elohim. Go on.
Yeah, I was all like, first of all, the Hebrew, the Judeo-Christian religion only has one God. His name's Fred.
But he's got all kinds of names, right? I thought that was
Fred,
maybe one of them.
Joe, Elohim.
I was gonna give him the better benefit of the doubt.
Oh, but what was I
Bob
stopping
Dobbs.
that on? Sorry, what was the list again?
Odin.
Oh,
Jesus.
Buddha and Odin, the same person,
Same person.
blew my mind.
Same person at the same time. Wouldn't some of these guys overlap? Like how was wait a minute, how was Buddha falling asleep under that tree at the same time that Jesus was at the Battle of Gallipoli? It doesn't make any sense.
And anyway, when did Buddha apparently lose an eye to a raven?
Yeah. But anyway, this doesn't explain any of that. However, they believe that it was true. Okawa's current wife is thought by believers to be the reincarnation of the goddess Gaia, the Mother Earth. You may have heard of her work. While his previous wife was the claim to be the reincarnation of the goddess Aphrodite. But she has since been expelled from the cult. Wonder why. The group claims to have 30 million members, although estimates put the figure closer to a few tens of thousands. I mean, still.
Dude, that's still fucking crazy. As a
Insane.
podcast that just has about 250 listeners.
People are wild.
I wish to be that cult.
Are wild. Teachings are based on 500 books published by Okawa, who most of which are transcripts of his recorded lectures. There are also 15 films based on his teachings. It's just so crazy that like this is people's like pastime. Like, what are you gonna do over the weekend? Cult stuff, culting. Yamo cult.
I mean, my whole segment, take that and you went full shark boy.
Hey, listen, don't try to ignore it. Just let it happen.
So, like, if you think about that for my segment, to where like just on the weekend you're going to work, you're working at the post office, and then you're all like, "What do you do on the weekend, Roger?" And I respond to you, "We got a new insert for Sheldon's implant. I'm gonna listen to the aliens."
Yeah. Crazy, right?
I really have to go work on my garden, but I kind of want to just go see Sheldon.
I want to go see Sheldon talk about the aliens. He's really pumped about this whole so he got some new stuff last night. He knows Kung Fu now. He learned about a new animal from space that the aliens implanted into his brain, and he's going to tell us about the animal. So,
and not to talk ill about them, because like I just don't have a need for that type of spirituality. I'm just looking for it.
And there is, there's people who really, really have a need for that, and sometimes assholes
much
fill
respect,
that need
Christians.
with
I respect your religion, okay?
Or somebody's one person's delusions or something. Anyway, but then there are people who aren't doing that, which much respect, mad respect. Anyway, happy science is a weird mixture of things. I'll fucking say. They believe in the existence of reincarnation, but also angels, demons, and aliens. They also only ask that believers to have the aspiration and discipline to seek the truth and actively contribute to the realization of love, peace, and happiness on Earth. But things get a bit weirder when it gets to the group's stance on foreign policy. They seem to love everyone except China and North Korea.
Is it because of their faux communism?
Members of the group believe that North Korea and China are plotting to take over Japan using nuclear weapons. So instead, Japan should act preemptively and start an expansion. Happy Science wants to change the country's constitution and remilitarize as quickly as possible. Their political ambitions are no joke. The Happiness Realization Party, the cult's official party, has 21 local councilors in Japan.
Damn.
The group's nationalistic ideas have become better defined in recent years, but they are also started media campaigns supporting Donald Trump and the U.S. far right, working to build anti-China animosities. In the pandemic, the group sold quote-unquote spiritual vaccines that claim to prevent and cure COVID-19.
Dude, come on, guys. Can't you be like the ground crew and be cool with your religion?
Yeah, that's shitty. You're selling people the cure? Fuck you. Next up, the August Engelhart coconut obsessed cult. Let me take that again.
Yep.
The August Engelhart coconut obsessed cult. Next up.
Sorry. let my brain take that one more time again?
Yeah. Next up, the August Engelhart coconut obsessed cult. And then there's a picture of who I can only assume to be August Engelhart, who looks a lot like Vladimir Putin, not gonna lie. MGL. Shirt off, maybe a beard. I don't know what's going on there. In 1902, a man by the name of August Engelhart set out on a bizarre trip, armed with inheritance money, a suitcase full of books, and the knowledge he gained by studying physics and pharmacy. He set out to reach the shores of Papua New Guinea. His goal? Establishing a new Edenic order. He believed that man was a tropical creature, and if ever there was a Garden of Eden, it should be inside the tropics, as close to the equator as possible. He also believed that man was supposed to walk around nature freely naked.
I'm down with this guy. Save for the naked thing, I want to protect my junk.
Engelhart had previously engaged in a movement called Jungborn, Fountain of Youth, which advocated a return to the natural world, eating off the land, and living nude. The movement eventually fell apart because of legal problems regarding nudism. But Engelhart didn't give up on the idea. I want to see titties, he said, and peepees and bum-bums. And the occasional vajiji if it's cartwheel day. He didn't say any of those things.
Yeah, it's never cartwheel day. Cartwheel day.
It's never cartwheel day. The whale won't fit on the cart. Engelhart had previously engaged in that movement. Right. Engelhart didn't give up on the idea. He arrived on Cabacon Island, a place known for its headhunters. He also seemed to have a weird fascination with coconuts. The main reason appears to be his shape.
They're perfectly round. They're neat.
Engelhart saw that the coconut was round like the human head and even resembled it a bit, so it must be the ideal fruit for man's consumption. So central was this idea to Engelhart's cult that his diet and that of his followers, though there were only a handful of them, consisted almost entirely of coconuts. Quote here, "We can expect from God that he created our food in the shape of our heads." Engelhart reasons in one of his writings, "They are vegetal human heads, and they alone are the proper human nourishment." The coconut,
I think you need more. I know there's protein.
Yeah. No, you need more than coconuts.
I know there's fiber, but like...
I think as we will find out. The coconut is also the fruit that grows nearest the sun. Sorry.
The coconut resembles the sun.
The coconut is also the fruit that grows nearest the sun.
Okay.
And Engelhart also worshipped the sun. So he decided it must be the most perfect food for people. "I'm going to eat the sun," he said. No, I'm kidding. I made that up. A New York Times article from October 5th, 1905. The year you might have seen Al Capone dancing the Charleston on top of a flagpole. That's not true. It's just kind of in the area. I was throwing a dart. That's a Simpsons quote. Wrote that in 1905, his plan was to have his sect worship the sun. He held that man was a tropical animal, not intended to live in caves called houses, but to wander as Adam did, with the sun beating upon him all day and the dews of heaven for a mantle at night. Living such a life, he believed that the healing and curative powers of the sun would in time render a man so immune that sickness could be overcome.
Jordan?
But sickness was not overcome.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jordan, how immune are you after going out into the sun for an afternoon?
I mean, it depends. It depends where I was. Is it a beach day? Because the answer is I'm asleep by 7 and feeling like I'm still in the water.
Easily.
Engelhart and his 15 or so followers would spend their days basking in the sun, swimming in the Pacific Ocean, and eating their coconuts. But life wasn't easy. Several of his followers didn't even survive a year on the island. Engelhart himself became ill after a poor coconut harvest. He recovered, but was reportedly very thin and in poor health. My man's got coconut poisoning. My man got a nasty coconut. His writing became more and more erratic year after year, and he didn't make it to his 50s. His cult also didn't last, but it's not hard to consider Engelhart a precursor of the hippie movement.
Fair enough.
Given the impact the movement had on the world, he may feel a little vindicated. Next up, the Raelians. Raelism. What are they about? What do they do? What's all this chatter that people seem to be thumbing their noses at on your favorite podcast?
We've talked about them a little bit already on this show. I need a refresher. Hit us with it.
So, according to the Raelians, humans were created by aliens called the Elohim. The Elohim are not gods, but they are sometimes mistaken to be. The Elohim have also created 40 Elohim human hybrids to serve as providers, including Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, and a fellow named Rael, a former French journalist who founded and currently leads the Raelian movement. I hate.
It's got strong Eternals vibes to it.
Yes.
See, that's why we need to do refreshers, because like movies come out and then we get a new perspective on what's going on.
That's exactly what it is. Big Eternals energy. Okay.
I used to know Buddha. I was in love with Cersei.
Of realism. But it gets even more interesting, according to ZME Science. The movement believes that since the Hiroshima bomb of 1945, humans are inching closer to the apocalypse. I mean, brother, you don't know how. You don't know how right you are. And if we manage to avoid this and achieve world peace, the Elohim will return to Earth with their technology and begin a utopic age on Earth. They're even working to build an embassy for the Elohim. That would be incredible. I would love it if that happened. Like any respectable neo-religion, go on.
Could you imagine the difference in embassies? Like you got Embassy Row in New York, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like you have the Arab Emirates embassy, and it's nice. Yeah. You know, you have the French embassy. It's Singapore, nice as well.
France.
There's art. And there's just one with like lasers shooting out of it.
Then there's one that's just a fucking cube hovering in reality. Sorry.
I would constantly be there. But like I need to move next to the cube.
Yeah, I need to be near the cube. I must see the cube at all times. What are you doing this weekend? The cube. I must witness the cube once more. So, like any respectable neo-religion, the Raelian movement encourages meditation, mindfulness, sexual experimentation. However, researchers have noted that the movement has a coherent worldview, and Rael himself appears to genuinely believe the truth behind his claims. The movement's beliefs are generally considered as progressive and quote-unquote hedonistic.
He definitely thinks you should try it up the butt.
Yeah, I definitely think you should hide from the aliens here in my blanket fort. Everybody get in. There's room for everyone in the blanket fort. I've built a 3-story blanket fort in Pismo Beach. Although members are advised against using recreational drugs or stimulants. Peace out. I'm not in. I'm out. It should be noted that they have a symbol that represents a swastika inside of a Star of David. So it's an interesting stew, to say the least. I mean, I don't think that either of the things are symbolic toward those particular belief systems, but I think that there is a real lack of, if anything, it is symbolic of the lack of
there's some graphic design help that's needed.
Yeah, this
Graphic
feels like
design
somebody was working on the like Raelian crest, and they were like, "This looks great. How's no one ever done these before?" It's like, no, they have. They did. The movement, which counts some 60,000 members, is anti-war, but sometimes opts for surprising positions. For instance, they support the introduction of genetically engineered plants, a position opposite of that of most New Age movements. I gotta say, I'm with them on this one. GMOs, I party with it. Fuck it. Genetically modify them. Feed the world. Feed the world. Let them feast on mutant flesh.
I'm at their website right now.
Yeah. And also, famously, the Raelians claim to have cloned someone in the early 2000s with little to no scientific proof thereof. But there could be a clone of this Rael dude out there. Bopping around, probably a DJ. Doesn't want to be, I'm not like you, Dad. I don't want to be the next incarnation of Jesus, Buddha, and Thor. Next up, the John Frum Cult. Sorry, the John Frum Cargo Cult.
Nice.
In John They Trust. John Frum is a classic example of a cargo cult. To get into the vibe of cargo cults, think of it this way. You are an indigenous population from some Pacific archipelago. Modern science and technology is largely unknown to you. So when, unbeknownst to you, a global war breaks out, World War II, and some faraway people, mostly the Americans, send planes and other things your way, it's hard not to see it as a divine wonder.
Dude, I forgot about this, and it is a legitimate cult.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of American troops poured into Pacific Islands over the course of World War II, and several cargo cults were spurred. It's not just the appearance of soldiers and their wild technology, but the locals didn't know where the strangers' seemingly endless supplies came from. To some, it seemed like they were magically summoned from some nether place, so cults appeared, especially after the soldiers departed. Since the indigenous wanted the soldiers to come back, as the soldiers often traded with locals and offered them supplies, they developed rituals. They prayed and built shrines, but that was just the start of it. They would mimic the day-to-day habits of soldiers, patrolling and performing parades. Some even built runways for the planes to return. For the duration of the war.
Sound familiar, Christianity? With your runways for Jesus?
He's coming back. It's plane. For the duration of the war, the soldiers returned sometimes. So to the locals, it seemed like their rituals were bringing them back.
Jesus Christ.
But when
Phenomenal.
when the war ended, the soldiers didn't come back anymore. Like the gods of myth, they disappeared. In time, many cargo cults also disappeared, but others endured, hoping that if they pray hard enough, if they wait long enough, and if they do the right things, their gods will return. Does that sound familiar? Christianity. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Sounds familiar.
Perhaps the most notable cult is the John Frum Cult. In the islands of Vanuatu, John Frum is depicted as an American World War II serviceman who brings wealth and prosperity to his followers. However, John Frum, also spelled F-R-U-M, by the way, also seems to live in a volcano, is a spirit, knows everything, and is stronger than Jesus. Vanuatu was swept briefly by Christianity, it says here.
Just as a side note.
Yeah, it like brushed up against Vanuatu, and they were like, John Frum would kick the fuck out of this Jesus fellow. Get him away from the island. He wants people to return to their ancestral way of living and oppose colonizers. Believers see John Frum on special occasions, or sometimes when they consume kava, when they consume kava, a species of the pepper plant and the local narcotic of choice. An analgesic, perhaps? No, that's not the word. Analgesic means it puts you to, something about...
It's a pain relief.
Makes you piss? No, I don't know.
No, it makes
That's diuretic. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm
diuretics make
talking
you
about.
pee and
Roger,
poop.
help. Roger, I'm drowning. Help.
Tomorrow.
There it is. There it is. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's my calming phrase. So they sometimes see John Frum. The island of Tana, in particular, is where the belief thrives. The men consume kava every night at sunset in a place that is off limits to women. In 1957, the movement really took off when the John Frum movement created the Tana Army, a nonviolent, ritualistic society, and organized military-style parades of men wearing a uniform consisting of white T-shirts that said TAUSA, Tana Army, USA.
Oh my.
A local village chief managed to visit the US in 1995. He was impressed by the immense wealth he saw, but also saddened by the pollution and poverty he saw in the country. He happily returned home. We don't know who John Frum is, or even if he is a real person. Americans have done little to help Vanuatu in the past 70 years. But if Christians have been waiting for Jesus for 2,000 years, why is waiting for John Frum any sillier?
Dude, this is straight up. This is straight up the new religion. You're looking at our new god, John Frum.
John Frum has big Bob Dobbs vibes.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole different thing. The Church of the Subgenius is more of an art movement than it is a cult, but it is an art movement that claims to be a cult. So
give it 5 more years.
Yeah. Finally, before we leave tonight, we're going to talk about the missionary church of Kopimism, who believes that code is law. Their
code is law.
Their symbol is the yin yang. Do you remember the yin yang?
I remember the yin yang twins.
No. Okay. So they're the yin yang of such famous things as the Korean flag and like the 90s and certain religions. I think Taoist. What is the yin yang originally? Can you look that up? Computer, can we get a breakdown on the Wikipedia, the first line of the Wikipedia of the yin yang?
Yin yang.
Yeah, right. Like you don't have a fucking bookmark of cool yin yangs that you've seen.
All right, the Yin Yang Twins are an American hip hop duo.
This was my mistake. Go ahead and shut it down.
So the yin yang can be thought of as a complementary rather than opposing forces that interact to form a dynamic system in which the whole is greater than the sum.
Yes. Fascinating. So imagine that the yin yang, which is in ancient Chinese philosophy, in yin and yang, is a Chinese philosophical concept that describes how obviously opposite or contrary forces may be complementary, interconnected, and interdependent in the natural world. You all know the symbol, so imagine that thing, but instead of dots, the top is Control-C, and the bottom is Control-V. It's literally just those words.
Oh my God. Listen, code is law, and these are the commands I use more than any.
That is true. On any given day, I'm copying and pasting.
Dude, I show that to people at work, and it blows their minds. They're like,
"Look, there are right-click people, and there are keyboard command people."
That's fair. I'm a keyboard command. It looks like I'm into this religion.
Yeah, come on through. We have much to talk about. Kopimists have a rather unusual set of beliefs, says CME Science. The main underlying idea is that copying information is a sacred virtue, and all information should be freely distributed and unrestricted. The group opposes any form of copyright or information hiding. Yes. All information must be freely available always. Yes. If that sounds a bit like the pirate movement, well, some suspect the Kopimists are exactly that, especially since the two founders have been involved in online activism before. Some journalists have dismissed Kopimism as a quote-unquote political adventure, a PR stunt, and a devaluation of religion. but the group insists that they're the real deal. Their webpage reads, "A religion is a belief system with rituals. The missionary Kopimism fundit is a Kopimism fundit. One word, Kopimism fundit is a religious group centered in Sweden who believe that copying and the sharing of information is the best and most beautiful that is.
Okay.
To have your information copied is a token of appreciation that someone think you have done something good."
All right. I've always felt that I believed in something, and I didn't know it was this.
And there are some bullet points here that you would maybe like to memorize, scribble down somewhere, or perhaps copy, if you will. I'm going to do it right now. I'll copy them.
Will you paste them onto your hard drive of love?
All knowledge to all. The search for knowledge is sacred. The circulation of knowledge is sacred. The act of copying is sacred. The group even holds weddings in 2012. The group even holds weddings. In 2012, the Missionary Church of Kopimism held their first wedding in Belgrade, Serbia. The holy ceremony was conducted by a Kopimistic op wearing a Guy Fawkes mask.
Nice.
Hang on, I think he's called an OP, which is ridiculous. A computer read the vows and some of Kopimism's central beliefs aloud. At the event, the church declared, quote unquote, "We are very happy today. Love is all about sharing. A married couple shares everything with each other. Hopefully, they will copy and remix some DNA cells and create a new human being. That is the spirit of Kopimism. Feel and love and share that information. Copy all of its holiness." It's hard to say just how much truth it is, or is in that, and how much is trolling, but at the very least, Kopimists came up with an idea that pushes the boundary of what religion and doctrine really mean, especially in the 21st century. And it sounds like they've got a new Kopimist in Roger Norquist today.
I believe in what they do. Give that information out. Share the information. It should all be free.
And it doesn't seem like they're, killing anyone. So that's good. Or, arming the people.
I think some different things.
Except with knowledge.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is beautiful.
Arm them with knowledge.
Indeed. And I think that does it for this week's episode of Werewolf Radar. Shout out to Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers for our intro and outro song. Shout out to you, the listener at home. Shout out to the Dark Council members.
Are you ready to do the Om to the Dark Council members?
I'm ready
It's
to
the end
own
of the
them.
month.
Wait, what did we do last time?
We do an Om for 2022. It's the year of the Om. We're getting.
We have to praise them because this is the cult deep dive.
Oh yeah. Well, the deep dive was the praise. We did it because of them.
We did it because of you, Dark Council members. This is it. This one was for you. You live on in our hearts like some sort of terrifying worm that the doctors are worried about, but we won't let them get rid of it because it gives us kung fu powers.
Get your chance ready for Nick Bailey, Michael King, Marcelo Duran, Jason Wardell, Gloria Gray, Phil Corridor, Dylan Gutierrez, Tobias Livingston, the most well-prepared dead guy, Lee Southwell, Jason Sweet, Gloria Gray, Alicia Coy, Adam Passion, Abby Claboo, Ryan Flint, Liam Dahl, Jessica, Jake Specht, Dean Malik, Dakota Vincent, Adra Kinkle, and our Chancellor of Madness, Michael Przak. If you would like your name shouted at the end of an episode at the end of the month, patreon.com/Werewolf Radar.
I hope my neighbors are okay with me chanting and shouting hail in here.
Dude, they gotta be. It's part of the Patreon now. I'm gonna put Jordan a noise for you pledge to our Patreon, patreon.com/Werewolf Radar, and I will add the reward, the paranormal reward of Jordan and Roger annoying our neighbors by
Yes.
screaming your names and chanting.
We will
for
hail
you.
your name. Absolutely.
We got mugs, we got stickers, we got art. All sorts
I don't
of
even
stuff
know
for ya.
if it's annoying. I think it's just creeping them out. We're giving our neighbors cause for concern.
You should always be concerned. There's paranormal forces out there, Jordan.
At
That's what
work.
our show's about, preparing you. And if our neighbors don't
They
want it,
are
that's their
at
fault.
Work. It's true. All right, y'all. That does it for this week's episode of Werewolf Radar. Nate Balding, Internet Daemon, wherever you are. No, that was for the other one. Nate, whatever the fuck you're up to, we hope you're okay, and we hope that wherever you are on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Punching the sky, Spaceman Joe.